So welcome each of you able to join live today. This our last Lioness of Light Oracle Within session number 17, and can't believe the time has, done what it does through this year like a portal. And I just want to thank each of you for sitting with me in what for me is my sweet spot, the place where in some sense I have felt most able to be myself, my whole vast, most cohesive self that I'm ever in practice of integrating and incorporating and practicing into every other moment of my life. And yeah, it has been a very personal journey in ways that I could never have predicted for myself. And I know that through this time we have each been journeying through so much. So thank you for holding space. My name is Zenta and welcome. And through this journey that was begun in August, once a week, we have been exploring through 17 imprint of spirit paintings that I have painted since the beginning of 2014, that little did I know it evolved to create through the beginning of 2020 the Lioness of Light Oracle, a divination deck of 52 cards that explores aspects of the journey of our being spirit embodied in matter, incorporating all that we are in our humanness through the journey of suffering, confusion, and the grappling with our deep inner soul journeys through to the sense of our gossamer presence as radiant beings of light, one with all, one with creation, the journey of sovereignty in union that is truly being birthed on another level at this time through the entering of the age of Leo Aquarius, or what many know as the age of Aquarius, the golden age. There are many terms for this time of shift of our collective consciousness coming into greater unity and justice for all through the livingness of each of our truth, each of our mystery, and yet the awareness of the sharing of our presence on this planet with all sentient beings, with all of nature, part of the great cosmic universe that we are one with. So it has certainly been a journey each week as we have explored and touched into different aspects that I have been able to offer and share through the vehicle of my own self. And as I've expressed through each session, please know to just receive whatever resonates for you and to let the rest go. I speak of this in terms of entering the realms of the poetic. It's just one expression of communion with the experience of life, the experience of being spirit embodied in matter. And I hope that through my sharing, that there have been elements that have brought you some inspiration or recognition or resonance that have nourished you and nurture your own sacred journey. There is no one truth. It is for each of us to know unto ourselves, to be the conduit, to trust and have faith in our own sacred presence, in respect and full honor of the sacred presence of all. So having spoken this, I would also like to say that this session, our last, will be a little longer. I originally intended 30 minutes, and as many of you would have noticed, they've crept up to the 40-minute mark, and this one may be a little longer, mainly due to the fact that as I was preparing yesterday for our session in a particular way that sort of comes closer, to the hour, there becomes a new sense of opening up to anything else to bring in, and aspect that I was aware of but hesitant to bring in really I felt prompted to bring in. So I am doing so. Yesterday was the new moon sun eclipse. And of course, on the 21st is the solstice. For many, the moment that is regarded as the literal stepping through the gateway of activation of the age of Aquarius, the shift of consciousness upon this planet that will continue its iteration and practice for who knows how long, hundreds, thousands of years, because this is timelessness through time. However, the significance of this moment, and as many of you would be aware, here in Australia, on this continent, is a very profound moment centered within and around Uluru, at the heart of this continent, of this country, a great ceremony that has been prepared for and is being enacted by the original peoples of this land, the traditional people who hold the timeless wisdoms and ancient knowledge of this continent and perhaps of this globe and her origination. So great honor and respect. I speak my respect to the original people of this land, the people of Uluru, past, present, and future, and the profound knowledge that will continue to be held and to be enacted through the original keepers and guardians and custodians of this land. So with what I'm going to be sharing, this is not speaking their story, that is not mine to speak. However, I am going to be bringing in, prompted by something that occurred yesterday, another aspect of perhaps what I may wish and offer my prayer as an enhanced perspective of sensing, of vision, of wisdom relating to this event that is about this time, the birthing, the rebirthing of the ancient divine feminine, Lioness of Light, whom we first spoke of through the story of the Golden Lioness at the very beginning at my welcome introduction. So it's all connected, the return of the solar feminine. Today's session, the final one, 17, Lioness of Light. The painting is over there on the wall, which you wouldn't be able to see very clearly, but you can have a look at her, and indeed all my paintings on my website, zentaimprints.com.au. And she is carrying return of the solar feminine. And what is that? What is that in relation to the return, the re-arising of the ancient divine feminine, the more active principle of the ancient sacred feminine in balance with the sacred masculine as energies of nature, of energies of creation. So it's all somehow woven in, and I could never have planned that this session would manifest on this day, at this time, between these two moments of birthing that we are journeying. But this is, as you know, what I love to share, that for each of us to trust in our own journey, even at the time we don't know the fullness, the full spectrum of play, of all the threads of that which we are, of those things that come to us or that we touch upon, and then the way they weave and offer themselves later, where we can turn back and go, this is, I never quite knew, and look at this, and look at that number, and look at that geometry, and look at the weaving of everything. And so we are ever deepened and inspired and offered faith through the language of the universe that comes to us through the realms of the poetic in these ways. And it is deeply reassuring, deeply strengthening, and only enhances our awe, wonderment, and respect for the so little that we know, and yet that we are divinely part of through the streaming of consciousness that is all creation. So coming to this, I firstly would like to show you this beautiful little piece, this sacred offering that was gifted to me by my dear sister friend Jax, that was received and given to her through a lady, and it's connecting me right now to the heart of this planet, to the heart of this continent, Australia. Thank you to the grandmothers, and I will speak her name, also a grandmother whose name I feel to speak, grandmother Mama Margaret. Mama Margaret, blessings and gratitude. And so, coming to our session now, the movement of what we're going to be connecting with and exploring. Yesterday, I finally read an article written by a friend, Maggie Whisson, that she brought together in relation to the great ceremony that will be taking place here at Uluru on the 21st of December, the solstice. She had written this in early November, I believe, but I hadn't got round to reading it. Yesterday, I felt prompted to read it. For those of you who after this session might like to follow through and read her stunning article and look at the most beautiful photographs that speak some of the story through her gathering of insight and wisdom of Uluru, of the ceremony, of the rainbow serpent, then the link on the YouTube will be put underneath this video, so you can have a look at that later. In the meantime, as I began reading the article, I was captivated by a few aspects that were woven in, where she was quoting from the work of a man called Robert Kuhn, whom I'd never heard of. And in fact, I don't even know if he's still alive because I couldn't really track. He's written a number of books 10 years ago or so, and they're all to do with the ley lines and the power centers and the chakra energy centers of the planet. And he speaks in these works to do with Uluru, apparently knowledge that was passed to him by an elder or elders. I can't speak for him. However, what was spoken and mentioned, woven through Maggie's article, were elements that I somehow had familiarity with, that I had received in transmission through the last channeling, through the breath of Ptah and the spectrum of light voices that speak whilst he holds space, that I have spoken about in a couple of prior sessions through our oracle here, that wove themselves into the last number of paintings. And I had not yet transcribed this last session that occurred on the 29th of October this year, 2020. So after reading Maggie's article, I went back. I sat down yesterday also on the solar eclipse, and I listened and transcribed, as I do each time, what was spoken. And this is what prompted me to share this. There are two parts to this sharing, to what has been transmitted. The first part speaks in some sense more directly to each of us. There's a practice that is offered to us in relation to the gold, to the solar light, and to our embodying, remaining present, grounding the cosmic energies, and also the spirit embodied in matter, the matter of remaining and embodying this time. And then the second part began to speak about what is about to occur and perhaps already occurring at Uluru. So whilst I was cautious of bringing this in, because there is so much out there at the moment and there's a little bit of perhaps even saturation, but this is a time of deep respect, of deep awe for things we don't fully understand and that we are opening to on a global level. And I know that around the globe, for the 21st of December, there will be so many prayers, so many ceremonies. So it is a collective celebration, honoring, listening deeply, and connecting ultimately with the earth as a conduit between the celestial cosmic origin source and our presence upon this earth, and returning our respect and reverence to this that we are part of, that we are one with ultimately. So I decided to just let go my slight apprehension to just offer this. And as I said, receive what resonates, let the rest go. And thank you for your patience. At the end of the reading, we will just move straight into the more direct oracle of Lioness of Light before moving into a short meditation that I hope gathers us into an incorporation of this moment and all of timeless moment that will offer us strength, courage, and centeredness through our daily life, through the all that we are each journeying. Thank you. One last thing that's just come to mind that also prompted me to go forward with this is that the channeled session that inspired the painting and the oracle, Lioness of Light, that was originally given the title Solar Feminine Return, occurred on the 4th of May 2020, the date reduced to 13. The painting was completed spontaneously on the 3rd of June 2020, which happened to be, as I later found out, on the Sun-Venus conjunct at 13 degrees Gemini on a date that also reduced to 13. And now this final channeled sharing through Breath of Ptah, one of the ancient Egyptian Neteru, occurred on the 29th of October 2020, again a date that reduced synchronistically to 13. And as we know, 13 being the number transmitting, carrying the energy of the divine feminine, and also the number of birth, death, rebirth, transformation, the cycle, the great cycles of transformation as held through the ancient divine feminine. So just offering you that as, again, another example of how these things can just unfold so beautifully. What I'm experiencing, and this is what I experienced within the channeling as it opened and then the voice began. What I'm experiencing is that a great aspect of me would like to return now to Source, to leave and transition this planet. However, I know that it is my contract, my vow, my fulfillment to remain for some further time until the golden light has completed its circle, until the thread has passed through the eye of the needle. Until this is done, and the sacred thread, the sacred cord has transferred, transmuted, transitioned and offered its full light. And the gossamer thread, the weave that it is part of, it may not leave as yet. It must remain to fulfill its duty. And I offer this to each of us because I'm sure we've each known these moments. Not that we would necessarily enact upon them, but there are moments when we've each felt so deeply exhausted or burdened with the strain sometimes of being fully present to our life. So honoring and acknowledging this within each of us. And the voice began. And so to support you in this venture, this endeavor through which you are experiencing resistance at this time, we offer you this image, this metaphor, and yet it is physical. To feel yourself as this thread of golden light, and yet it is matter. You are like a spindle, and your body, your presence upon the earth is an upright spindle. Can you see this upright spindle, woven of gold, as if the golden thread is woven around the spindle, and at the center is the thicker body of the golden thread that is wound, like an upright spindle, a cocoon even. Yes, this is true. The chrysalis of the butterfly before it emerges, hanging from a tree woven of the silken threads. And so we guide your mind, your imagery, to this upright spindle of gold. And you are like a pole, an electromagnetic pole, attuned to the north and south poles of the planet. This is your gravitas, your point of anchoring upon the earth. And the thread that is the whole experience and vibrational force field of all your experiences as spirit embodied in matter, as you share in these Zooms that you are offering to those ones who are participating at this time. This light that are the great threads woven around the spindle, the upright spindle, this is the matter, the body of your experience and your attunement to all. And the transmutation and the digestion, the incorporation, the giving and the receiving of that which you are, this thread, the gathering of golden threads, which is one thread actually, needs to fulfill and experience itself fully in this realm. Gold, as you know, is a property. It is, yes, a sentient being. It is life force, it is livingness that can be present and embodied on every level, on every field of existence. And you are this matter. You are this matter. It is within each body, each form upon this planet, in fact. Woven, coiled about the upright spindle, to varying and lesser degrees, there are others who have other, you might say, metallic properties, qualities that are woven with the gold. There is full spectrum of alchemy here. And yet this is a language and a concept that is not yet fully formed on this planet that you are part of. And you, my dear child, are woven of gold. This is the light that you share with many others upon this planet at this time. For this is the time of the awakening of the gold that you are, that is one with all, within all, and that is being particularly intensified and released as the pure light that it is at this time of awakening of the golden age. These are not just terms for poetry or for light-headed contemplation. These are deep embodied truths. And so, to enable you to continue to exist and to fulfill your role upon the planet at this time that you share with many, many others in their own unique way and vibrational role and service, which is, of course, ultimately of great love and joy and beauty. And yet there are challenges on this earth plane that many of you are suffering. And as we have touched upon, when we have offered you guidance about letting go of fear, of the vibrational intensity you will be passing through, which is enacting at this time. Now, though we have spoken of it earlier, for it was gathering to this place. So connect with the golden thread that is your being, woven so intricately around the spindle. And when you feel yourself to be in overwhelm, or a state where you might perhaps prefer to transition from this plane, to which you have offered yourself in service through timeless time and past ancient time that is beyond all knowing in your plane and upon your plane at this time, bring your awareness to the body, the silken body of the gossamer golden thread that you are, in its fine interwoven intricacy, spindling around the spindle. Breathe into the thread of gold that you are, the form of gold that you are, the tapestry of light. It is so fine, it is beyond the form of light even, the intricacy of its weft and weave. And yet you know this, and feel the spin, turn. And I began experiencing myself turning clockwise, I think it might be. Remember the Sufi dances of recent ancient time. The dance, there is a key here. You do not need, for those of you who are listening and going to receive this information, to become Sufi dancers, but energetically within, begin to spin, to turn, and this will release any static, any debris that has accumulated or is seeming to drain or impact the purity of your interface and your existence as embodied form. Spirit within matter, the gossamer light that you are as a resonant being of the universe of pure consciousness. And then the sounding ha, and then ra, and a new voice began to speak. This is the roar of the lion. And then there was another ra, the golden lion of consciousness that is calling you, each awake, 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 awake. And then began the sounding Soma. 3 rounds. This is the Soma. You are being offered this now. Receive it into your body, your etheric body, all bodies, the terrestrial body, I, the divine feminine, the body of gold, through which all arises and is born, the Soma. I offer myself to you now as pure liquid light, pure golden light, the waters within the celestial realms that are showering down upon this planet at this time and through all of this universe, this solar sphere, this net of planets, of stars and suns that is birthing itself unto a new light, new bodies even, of celestial form. And you are here upon this planet, now a part of this co-creation with me, for you are of me, and I am of you. Do not be afraid. Drink into yourself from my breast the gossamer light, the milk of the stars, and of the suns, and of the spheres that are beyond words in your language of this time upon this planet. There are birthings of such radiance occurring at this time that I would deeply wish to share with you how truly exquisite it is. And you are each part of this. And yet it can be painful on the physical plane, being part of this contraction and expansion, this energetic labor of light that is love. And there can be confusion as many structures collapse, fall away, are dismantled, even some of those structures that we hold sacred and that have offered great wisdom through their body presence of all the ages in recent ancient past. And yet remember, as has been spoken prior through this one whose body we are speaking to you through has shared, we have articulated that indeed it is a releasing of the sacred waters that herald the birthing. And as things are washed away, lost in the streams and in the oceans and the tides, disappearing into the rivers, do not weep, for this is the purity of what must occur at this time. The allowing and the connecting with the vapor of true arising and greater ancient future wisdom, and the energies, indeed the actual energies that you will upon this planet be able to harness, to receive, to know, that will ensure a greater thriving, rejoicing, evolutionary acceleration and expansion that is through the vibration and the light that is a property, a physical reality that is light, love. These words in themselves are almost not adequate to truly articulate the livingness, the divine truth of that which is being spoken. And yet, this can only be offered to you through these words at this time. And yes, the rock, the sacred mountain, the pyramid that embedded itself into this continent, upon this planet, like the belly button, from which is the cord, the umbilical cord of connection to Source, that resides within another realm that is part of an even greater source of universal reality and divinity. This is being activated so that through the umbilical cord, the transmission of even greater purity of light, that is energy, can be transmitted and exchanged. It is as if you are upon a ship, this planet, and this ship is guided and held safe through its umbilical cord, which is connected to the Milky Way. This is a pathway, and yet it is also far more complex than this, and yet it is so simple. It is a different way of perceiving the entire galaxy that is experiencing this new level of awakening at this time and of seeding itself in even greater light and activation. And we are all of this. We are each of this. There is none that is left out or not of this, and that includes all of the natural world, the body of the earth and all her creatures, all of sentience, every bird, blade of grass, flower, insect. You are all of the one breath, the one light. And this is what is opening at this time. Now that you have known the other as part of this experience of duality and polarity of consciousness seeking to know itself, now the time has come for the greater unity consciousness in all rejoicing and liberation for all. And we give thanks to the breath of Ptah for holding form and space so that these messages might come through, be passed through the breath and shared with all. And so it is, blessed be. So on the 21st of December, in whichever way feels true and natural for each of us, may we connect with the umbilical cord, the center, the belly button of this planet, upon this continent, Australia, and join with the original peoples of this land in great honor and respect for all creation, one with Source. Blessed be. And now gathering into our more personal selves in this moment, through the Lioness of Light, return of the soul of feminine, we'll move into the seed essence, voice of spirit and counsel, and then complete with our meditation. Seed essence. Rejoicing in the liberation of her spirit, she steps into her body wholly and fully. She walks remembrance of her sovereign divinity, treading lightly upon the earth. As embodiment of the soul of feminine returned, the sun shines through her and all of nature. voice of spirit. I am the light that I am. I turn my face to the sun and know the eternal sun within. I open to the divine source of my being, reflected in all things, and take up my rightful place as I journey the dance of creation. Counsel. Lioness of light comes to you now, asking you to walk with her into the fields of joy and limitless expanse of liberation. Connect with the essential freedom of your spirit as you open to receive unbound light from the unbound creative source of which you are made. You are of the sun, the energy of radiant solar divinity that unceasingly shares her light, arriving to you in waves and pulses that move through every living thing. Every cell of your body holds the seed of these golden rays as you continue to birth your holy self into this world. As the sovereign being you are, stand your ground, reaching ever toward the bliss of full embodiment, knowing that from the great central sun you arise, and as daughter or son of the sun, to the celestial ground of the stars you will one day return, carrying with you the gold of all that has been distilled through this journey. Having transformed the contraction of fear into love, your heart is open and strong. Rejoice in the freedom of return to your deepest self, no longer divided or separate, but centered in sovereignty in union, and wholly attuned to your oneness with creation. Trusting in this, know you can continue your path fully supported by all of nature, imbued and radiant with the light of the sun that shines for us all. And remembering with respect and joy that here in Australia, on this continent, the sun is regarded as female. She is the mother. As in many other cultures around the world. Blessed be. Our umbilical cord of connection, offering and receiving energy of source back to the sun, and from the sun deep into the earth, grounding and anchoring this light. And so we will enter our meditation, perhaps taking a breath in and letting it go as if with a sigh. Coming into awareness of your physical self, seated or laying down, the weight of your hips, the ground, the earth underneath your body, holding your body. The sense of your physical presence in this moment, making contact through the breath, the in-breath and the out-breath, easeful, effortless, coming into your own rhythm, your own breath rhythm. As you relax into the rhythm of the heartbeat and the breath of the earth, as she rests within the heartbeat and the breath and the rhythm of the cosmic universe that she is part of, and the great central sun that is the great mother, Ma-Ra. And I invite you now to perhaps experience yourself as a lioness or a lion with 4 paws touching the earth, Perhaps you are walking through a landscape of savanna grasses or dry desert earth or soft, sweet green grasses, allowing whatever arises for you, the landscape of this moment of yourself as the lioness or the lion of light. Feel with your pores the quality of the earth, of the soil. Breathe in the fragrance of the air. Feel perhaps the soft caress of a breeze, the warmth of the sun, or of a coolness. Your whole body restful and yet fully present and awake in this moment, whole unto yourself. Perhaps you are standing even upon a rock or an ancient stone, really bringing your awareness down into your feet, your paws, as they touch the earth, make contact with the earth. The energy of gold, of light within your body, full presence, spirit embodied in matter, one with all creation in this moment of embodiment of your sovereign being. You can feel the energy of the earth rising up through your feet, through your paws, up into the body, and it moves out through the crown of your head, through the crown chakra, to be received by the etheric energies, the celestial energies of the sun. And you bring down now through your crown chakra the golden radiance, the warmth, the light of the sun, the solar feminine, the rare behind the Ra, down into the body, your whole body filling with the golden radiance of the light of the sun, this gold that is pure light, pure love. And down through your feet, through your paws, you are a conduit for grounding and anchoring this light of the sun down into the earth, into the very soil, down, down, down into every cell of the body of this planet, of the earth. And either remaining in this posture of stillness, or you may find yourself slowly walking, treading gently and yet firmly upon the earth. You walk, you ground this solar light, the ancient divine feminine, back into the earth, through the body, the conduit that you are as spirit embodied in matter. Centered in the radiance that you are of, one with creation, one with the great central sun that is the light of all, that is love. As we co-create as we embody, as we gift, as we give and receive this sacred task of consciousness awakening to its true radiance, held in the light of love, the light of the sun, solar feminine returned, healed, mended, restored, now. And now, gathering back unto yourself this light, this energy of gold, coming back into the heart center, through which all passes, through which all is held, known, given and received. It is as if within the heart center there resides the ever-present reminder of your true being, of the state that each of us truly are the embodiment of. Spirit embodied in matter, one with creation, that is love. And so, blessings, so much gratitude. I can't tell you what has been gifted to me through my being able to sit each week and share in this way with you. It has been a profound gift, and I know we are each ever present unto one another through all timeless time, through the light of our hearts, holding space for one another and holding space for ourselves. May you walk gently into your day or move gently into your night, into your time of sleep or dreaming. Perhaps have a little water at completion and be gentle with yourself. I look forward to the unknown journey ahead, and remember that through my website, zentaimprints.com.au, you can contact me and to receive a personal session, a reading through the Lioness of Light Oracle that I do look forward to one day sharing with you, that has been published as a deck of divination cards. It will be my great joy to share that with you. So may it be so. And in the meantime, all good blessings, so much love, and all my gratitude. Blessings.